All eyes are locked on Egypt as Israel and Hamas begin crucial peace talks. Indirect talks are now underway in Sharm el-Sheikh city with Hamas and mediators Egypt and Qatar present. The main talks are set to begin on Monday with all the sides present, along with Arab negotiators and U.S. envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, in what is being called the most significant peace push since the war began nearly 2 years ago. But we have confirmed that the envoys will only be present if the talks proceed in a manner in which the President of America stated the aim is to hammer out a deal for the release of Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners and to lay the framework for a comprehensive ceasefire. But as the talks shape, Trump has told CNN that Hamas faces complete obliteration if the group refuses to cede power and control of Gaza, amid ongoing efforts to push forward his proposed ceasefire plan. The president says he expects clarity soon on whether Hamas is genuinely committed to peace. Talking about Netanyahu, Trump told CNN that Netanyahu is fully on board with ending the bombing campaign in Gaza and supporting the president's broader vision. Trump added that he is hopeful his ceasefire proposal will become a reality. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has drawn clear red lines. He says Israel will not implement Gaza peace plan until every hostage is released by Hamas. Netanyahu has also ruled out any role for Hamas or the Palestinian Authority in running Gaza after the war. He insists Israel will remain involved in Hamas's disarmament and warned that if hostages are not released by the deadline set by President Trump, Israel will resume fighting with full support from its allies.
The Prime Minister instructed the team, led by Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer, to finalize the technical details of the release of the hostages, a priority and first step of this deal.
The hand has called for a swift start to the hostage-prisoner exchange, but the group has presented other concerns. Hamas wants a full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza and has rejected disarmament unless it is part of a broader political agreement. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the world will know very quickly if Hamas is serious about a deal. He pointed out that disarmament and demobilization will not be easy and that you cannot build governance in Gaza in 3 days. Rubio also says Hamas has agreed in principle to what comes after the war, but added that some work still needs to be done on the final logistics and security arrangements.
We want to see the hostages moving as quickly as possible. We understand that we have to get the teams like the Red Cross or whoever it is that's going to be that goes in and gets it. All of these things have to be worked out, and that shouldn't take that long. All those talks are occurring even as I speak to you now. We're hoping it'll be finalized very quickly, early this week.
Now coming to who's at the table, according to reports, Israel's delegation consists of key figures like Hostage Affairs Coordinator Gal Kish, U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be playing a central role in the talks. On the Hamas side, the delegation is led by the group leader Khalil al-Hayya. According to Israeli media reports, Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer, officially in charge of the team, will not be flying to Cairo and will join based on progress in the talks. KAN public broadcaster reported that U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner won't be joining the talks right away. According to reports, Hamas leader Khalil al-Hayya will sit in a room adjacent to the Israeli delegation, where a senior Shin Bet official will be part of the delegation. Al-Hayya, who has been based outside Gaza throughout the war, was recently targeted in a botched Israeli strike in Doha. The talks are taking place under heavy security in resort city of Sharm el-Sheikh. This, as diplomats describe, a rare window of possibility after months of deadlock. And joining us from Tel Aviv is Brigadier General Dr. Mir Elran, who is a senior researcher at the Institute of National Security Studies. Brigadier General, thank you very much for making time for us and welcome to WION World is One. I want to know from you, are there any sticking points in Trump's proposal or Trump's 21 peace proposal?
Well, before I answer this very complicated question, I want to suggest for our audience a major framework for their reference to this problem. The two sides, Hamas and Israel, are as far apart as could be. The hostility is immense, and the feelings on the both sides towards the other side are such that without the assistance, the help, or the pressure of President Trump, nothing can move forward. So we have to understand that this is basically an American venture, an American project, which is very important, and it is accepted. It has been accepted by Israel fully and has not yet been accepted by Hamas fully. But it entails two major parts. The first initial part is the release of the hostages and also the prisoners of Hamas held in Israel, which is supposed to take place within a few days. And this is what the negotiations are all about presently in Sharm el-Sheikh. And then the second part, which is much more complicated, will take place later on. And this other part entails the major strategic issues of what happens in Gaza next, in the next stages, and eventually what happens in the Middle East in pursuant of any kind of a progress. In any case, we are as far from a peace between Israel and its neighbors, or mostly between Israel and Hamas, as can be. But the hope, of course, is, and this is definitely my personal hope, is that we will be able to get some kind of a formula to enable the freeing of the hostages, and hopefully soon. I don't know exactly what's going to happen there in the next few days. There is a major pressure put on by the two sides, by the Americans. It is quite unfortunate, as far as I'm concerned, that Witkoff and Kushner are not coming to Sharm el-Sheikh presently. I hope that they will be there as soon as possible, because without
Major General, let me ask you on that point about the talks. First of all, why do you think it is complicated to find peace in the region? And second of all, do you have hopes in these talks? Very quickly.
Well, as I said before, I am hopeful that the first part of the talks will be fruitful, even though it's not very easy. And again, without the consistent pressure of the Americans, it will not happen. With regard to the other part, to the major part of the plan of the United States of America, this is much more complicated because, as I said before, the gap or the animosity, the hostility, and the bad feelings between Israel and and Hamas is so great that it will take a long time to bring about any kind of rapprochement between the two sides. And I think that we will have to expect, if everything is fine, we have to expect a very long process until this happens sometime in the future. It doesn't mean that there will not be some kind of important and positive repercussions on the region, and hopefully also on the Palestinian issue. But Hamas is not recognized, not by Israel, not by the United States, and not by the Arab countries, as agreed between Trump and the leaders of the Arab world. Hamas is not accepted to be a partner to any peaceful negotiation or any peaceful arrangement in the Middle East.
Doctor, thank you very much for your time. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you for talking to us today.
You are very welcome. Thank you very much.
Earlier, we had spoken to Mohammed Najib, who is a war journalist and security analyst in Ramallah, and this is what he told us.
Well, Israel wanted the disarmament of Hamas, and Hamas says they are ready to turn over their offensive weapons the defensive weapons, they want to keep it. And they said that we can turn our weapons to the Palestinian Authority, not to Israel or to other authorities. But there are some proposals that Egypt says they can keep it as a deposit by Egypt until the establishment of the Palestinian state or the requalification of the Palestinian Authority to rule the Gaza Strip.